Hello, hello, and welcome back to Guild Wars Reforged. We are still in the catacombs. We are looking for Pitney's prized bird. I try to do quests in an order that will help us progress without having to jump back and forth, back and forth. Obviously, you can play this game however you feel, but I tried to use my knowledge of having played this so many times in the past to kind of lump everything together so that it all kind of flowed. So once we are done with these quests, though, we really are nearing the end of everything pre-searing wise. So, because we've already got our second profession, we've essentially done most every quest that we can, save a few. The only thing that we can't really do is, you know, there's the whole grind for 100 red iris flowers, but, and of course going across the wall. Yeah, I only got 8. I only have 8, so I don't know if that's something I'm gonna do. I don't know if I want to do that grind. So, I mean, it's not impossible, it's just not my thing. Deadly crypt spider. Also, we still have to find the charr in the catacombs and kill him, or at least, like, find out about him. And so we have to find Oberon the Reviled. Which I believe he's kind of in the same area-ish as the prize Moa bird, hopefully. So we can go ahead and get that done. So I did go ahead and go back to Ashford Abbey and work on selling some stuff. I want to save up some money because, yeah, we don't have anything. I wanted to save up some money just because, like, once we do get past the pre-searing, we will have the opportunity to buy, essentially, bank storage. It's called the Zaishin chest, or the Zunlai chest. And we will have the opportunity to purchase that. I think it cost 1 platinum, but I'm not sure, because, again, I haven't really played in a while, as far as, like, needing to get that unlocked. So we do want to have the Zunlai unlocked so that we can start placing items in there, like dyes, extra weapons, that sort of thing. And so I want that unlocked as soon as possible, just so that we're not constantly running into this issue of, you know, stuff. Also, we'll want to buy bags so that obviously we can have these bags unlocked. We'll want to buy those. We'll want to buy the weapon stuff, so that we can carry weapons in its own little pouch. So those are all things that we will want to do. And all that's going to cost a lot of gold, so we want to get that done ASAP. Alright. Pitney's bird is going to be up here, but there's all this restless corpses stuff going on. A lot of restless bodies. Although we are getting a decent amount of bones from these guys, which is nice, I guess. They don't notice us, and that's fine. Wait, hold on. What were they yelling at? Nothing. They're just yelling to yell, I guess. Me too! Me too, buddy. Me too. Okay. I like this section, too. It's actually really cool. Oh, there's the bird. Spoopy, spoopy. Alright, so we found the bird. And it's dead. And then there's all these crypt fiends. So obviously the bird was being used for dark purposes. And that's essentially just what this is implying, is that the bird was used as some sort of sacrifice. Ooh. I think the first time I saw this, I actually was kind of, like, icked out. Alright, now we can go find Oberon, which I believe he's this way. But yeah, I think the first time I ever saw that, I was like, oh no, because I thought that there was going to be, like, a huge boss battle or something. I mean, video games kind of just prepared me for that when you enter, like, a huge chamber and it's full of bones, you know, like, you're in for something big. You know, I feel like that was the vibe it gave off back then, especially since I didn't know anything really about the game. So I thought I was in for like this crazy boss battle, and then it just turns out it was some of these crypt fiends. But even back then, the crypt fiends were actually kind of tough, because I was under-leveled. I just didn't really know what I was doing. So I remember the crypt lurkers and the crypt fiends actually being like kind of rough, especially since I didn't even have the fire imp. So yeah, whenever I first started playing Guild Wars, they did not have the Fire Imp. The Fire Imp came out with the, like, Ultimate Edition, or not the Ultimate Edition. Oh gosh, it was like the Game of the Year edition or whatever. Yeah, so it's like I didn't even have the imp at first. So I was just kind of raw dogging it, you know? $5 gold coins. Don't mind if I do. And I'm gonna heal myself up because these guys are hitting rough. Use some of my magics. I wish that Deathly Swarm kind of like spread. Actually, I think it does. I think it does spread onto the adjacent. Deathly Swarm flies out, deals 30 cold damage, hits 2 additional foes in the area. So, yeah, Deathly Swarm is actually pretty good for like an AoE. I think it's curses. No, it's considered death magic. Okay. Alright, so yeah, death magic is pretty bomb. It's these spellcasters that's rough. He can take out the cadaver. I want that die so I can get rid of that. I want this. Someone the other day was in Commodon and they were asking for black dye, which, you know, isn't really an issue per se, but it's just like that's one of the rarest dyes that you can find. And like this guy was like, I don't have any money, give it to me for free. But then you could see that he was in a guild that had like a lot of like PvP rapport, and it's just like I have a hard time believing that someone in that guild wouldn't be willing to help him, and or that he had like zero money. So it's like, being helpful in a game like this is one thing, but giving stuff away is another thing. I'm definitely not the type to essentially give people something for nothing, because everything in this game takes so much, like, effort. So I would say, like, if you want to help people, fine, but, you know, like I said, get something in return for it. Like, be like, okay, well, I'll help you, but you gotta join my guild, or, like, I'll help you, but you have to be able to give me A, B, C, D, E, or something. Like I said, don't just take it for nothing. My imp's not helping because he's around the corner. Man. I'm gonna die here soon, imp, if you don't help. Whew. These guys hit. And they hit hard. This is 10. And this is the big bad right here, because he's all glowy. There we go. Yeah, so he was a special one. This is a Cephas axe, but it's unidentified, so let's see what it's got. It's 4 to 7, highly salvageable. Yeah, wood buckler, armor 6, tall shield, armor 6. Alright, phew. Oh, that's right, this is a freaking dead end. I've got to find the hole in the wall. But yeah, enemies that glow like that, they are special enemies, like I've said before. So essentially that one was glowing yellow, which means that that was a warrior. So if they glow purple, they're mesmers. If they glow light green, they are a ranger. Dark green is a necromancer. Purple is mesmer. Red is elementalist. Blue is a monk. Dark blue is a Ritualist. And then, like, I don't know, there's a different, like, there's another red for assassin, I think. And then another gold for paragon, which is essentially just the sun spears. I understand that they didn't have, like, too many colors to use. Alright, please tell me that there's a path that I can take through here that I might have just missed or overlooked. But I feel like there's not. Yeah, I feel like there's not. There's supposed to be like a crack in the wall that I'm supposed to walk through. There we go. I was like, to put me on the right path. So I just went through that all for like basically nothing. Except to fight the elite boss of the catacombs, I guess. Which was that Skull Reaver. Which normally would have kicked my butt, but, you know, I have my imp with me. Now I just gotta get through all these spiders. The spooters. Also, it would have helped if I still had monk skills, because monk skills are obviously super effective against these guys, but it is what it is. Here's Oberon. Hello. And he has a quest of his own, I believe. Yep, I knew he was gonna rage bait that other one. Ugh, I get no rest. And then it's gonna rage bait that other one. Goodness. The only thing with Healing Signet that I don't like is that it does give me that defense down while I'm in the healing, like, phase. Alright, anyways. Oberon! Tell me about the charr. Alright, your inventory is full. Please make room and speak to me again. Oh. You come here seeking charr. You are wise to seek out Oberon, for no creature, be they living or dead, moves through here without my knowledge. This charr that you seek comes often to the underground, but he does not make his lair here. The spirits of this place would not tolerate him should he seek to take up residence. If you require proof of his presence, take this. It's a token he left behind during one of his encounters with the denizens of this place. Now then, leave me to my studies. Return to the world of the light. The accursed path. Working here in the catacombs protects me from the prying eyes of the living, but my necromantic experiments have begun to attract the attention of creatures from beyond the pale. I'd like to continue my work without interrupting these infernal beasts. If you go south and eliminate the crypt fiends that have been bothering me, I will share with you a few of my most essential curses. Then you too will see the true power in the necromancer's art lies not merely in the manipulation of the dead. Consider it a bargain. Okay. Target foe attacks 50% slower and has 0 health degeneration. I will equip that later. Well, actually, I'll equip that now. Okay, so now we have to go and take care of the crypt fiends that are bugging him. This being one of them, I guess. And then there is one more necromancer teacher. That's Eve. And she is out near the Barradin estate. And she should be able to give us some skills as well. Now mind you, if you miss any skills, like in this whole like phase or whatever, like if you miss any skills for any reason, you can just buy them in post-searing, but try to get them in pre-searing because you don't want to have to buy them later. Oh, my imp leveled up again? Dang. He's just leveling up fast. Oberon, I did the thing. Are you happy? Thanks. Ooh, and I leveled up. Nice. Alright, so I want blood magic. and death magic. I don't need curses right now. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's go ahead and we're gonna go back to Ashford Abbey. I'm gonna sell some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to sell all of these. Spooter leg. And then I'm going to... let's see... this... and then this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is... I need to go to Green Hills County. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna travel to Ascalon City. I'm not gonna do that yet. We still have to give... oh, crap. I should have actually... I made a mistake. We have to tell Pitney about his bird. Because it dead. And Pitney is out here. So... I almost forgot. I'll say we did all those quests all at once, and so... hard to keep track. I will take this, though. Yeah, here are the striders. I don't know why they're called striders out here. And then you have the prized warthog, or the prize winning hog, but you also have regular warthogs elsewhere, so... and those are all tameable. Whoa. I get stuck on the weirdest stuff in Reforged. My precious bird is dead? And part of some kind of ritual, you say? Just my luck. Well, at least nothing worse can happen to me today. In any case, thank you for your trouble. Yep, you're welcome. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have to go all the way out this way. I'm just gonna travel to Ascalon City. That way we can just jump. I'm gonna sell some of the stuff he gave me. Let's see, I do not need this. Slashing 6 to 9 halves casting time of spells. Huh. I might want that. 8 to 10. Armor plus 5. I like the design of that longsword, but I can find one just like it later. The people that do fashion wars, I have a hard time, like, dealing with that, because the thing is, like, this game is already difficult as is, and then when you add on the fact that you want to look fashionable, I choose functionality over fashionable most of the time. So, needless to say, my character is not going to be very fashionable. She's not... I mean, she's already pretty, but, I mean, the armor in this game is kind of subpar. Especially for warriors. Like, I don't know. Like, the males look awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. The males look fantastic. Female armor, on the other hand, like, if you want a beautiful character, you're either gonna want to go Ritualist, Elementalist, or Mesmer. And Mesmer especially. Like, Mesmer stuff, gorgeous. Like, I love Mesmer gear in Guild Wars 1. But yeah, if you want a pretty character, you're gonna want to take up one of the spellcasting classes. Like, even Necromancer, even though it's more, like, edgy because it's got, like, bones and spikes, like, it's still gorgeous. But yeah, Elementalist, Mesmer, and Ritualist, probably the prettiest classes. Dervish is actually pretty, just because they have, like, the long cloaks and stuff. But even then, like, I don't know, I think Dervish is kind of, like, hit or miss. Plus, in order to play as a Dervish, you have to be playing in Nightfall. Same with Ritualist. Ritualist, absolutely gorgeous, but you have to be playing factions to play as a ritualist, so it is what it is. Okay. So these guys don't have any training for me. I want to see, yep, Kasha Blackblood. I knew she was going to have something. Because she's the final necromancer trainer. Power of Blood. I've got a job for you if you're willing to work. A group of former students of mine are hiding out in the catacombs. They fear my wrath, and rightly so. They failed in their training, and they must pay the price. They're very fond of the Dark Pact, so you should be able to counter them using blood magic to drain their health. Alright, you have +3 health regeneration, vampiric touch. Okay. So now I can try out my my new skills, which I have vampiric touch, but it's 15, and that's the only problem. I don't have the energy, so I really am going to need something to give me that energy. Because otherwise these skills aren't going to be very good if I can't get the energy to use them. Power of Blood, huh? Enter the catacombs and destroy the blood fanatics. Blood fanatics, huh? Look at all these grawl. There's so many. I remember the grawl, like, for a while, I was super fascinated with them. Like, I literally was just like, oh man, these are, like, the coolest, like, subspecies. Because, like, the grawl, I don't even know how to really explain them. They essentially just, they're primitive, true, and they worship, like, they don't have, like, a set god. They kind of just pick whatever is new and powerful. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but that's essentially, like, what they do, is they pick whatever's new and powerful. So they'll find these beings, and they'll be like, "Ah, this creature's super powerful, and it took out this thing, and blah 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 blah. So this must be a god." They're not very smart. They're not very smart, but for some odd reason, like, I just find them fascinating. Like, I don't know. So in Guild Wars 2, if you play, like, as a Norn character, you'll run into the Grawl, like, pretty early. But yeah, you'll run into the Grawl, and they essentially have picked this, like, it's a fire imp. It's not even a fire imp. It's a... Oh god, what is it? It's like a fire imp, but it's essentially just a fire demon. It's a fiery winged demon. And because this demon is super powerful, and they're just like, this is our god. And so, like, they've made statues to it and paintings to it and everything else. And yeah, so this is their new god. What is this? Hulking stone elemental? What is out this way anyways? So there's this thing that you can get. It's a oh god, it's an achievement, and it's called Cartographer. And you get it from exploring, like, the map in its entirety or whatever. Nice. But it's just like, obviously this is like the bounds of Ascalon, so it's just like, you can go farther. It's just, you can go all through, like, this area. But I don't think I've ever explored, like, all of pre-searing. I just can't really be darned because there's not really any quests out there. You know, most people that gain like a bunch of levels do so by traveling north beyond the wall. And then they just grind levels that way. So. Nope. Back to the, I'll say back to the, freaking, what's it? The bone section. The gargoyle section. Oh no, Kasha sent someone else to punish us. Damn straight I have. Or damn straight she did. Oh no! Run away! I don't know about you, but I wouldn't cross a necromancer. You know, just, you know, my 2 cents. Maybe that's not the best idea. You know? Are they already skeletons? Like, they're not people. Yeah, no, these are corpses. Be ready, everyone. Trouble's coming. Damn straight, I guess. It's bad enough that, like, literally you must have been so bad at your lessons that you literally got yourself killed, dude. Alright, well, that was taken care of, I guess. What's this? Oh, more blood fanatics. You know what? Just because I'm feeling nice, because I'm feeling super generous, I'll just tell Kasha that I decided to take out the rest of you. You know? Just as a favor to her. There we go. So that's done. Might as well just go out through this way. Just cut through. What do I get when I... Dead bow. Improved sale value. Nice. Sell and sell. Making that money, honey. I'll return to Kasha. That way I can keep my powers and she won't send anybody after me. Not saying she would, but I don't want to risk it. Because I'm not dumb enough to mess with a necromancer. Just saying. But yeah, there are some games I obviously have to get back to. Nier being one of them. The only reason I haven't really gotten back to Nier is because, like, I kind of just got exhausted with it. And I know that sounds bad because I'm so close to finishing it, but I just know the grind that kind of waits for me. And when you have to beat a game 5 times in order to complete it, having already done it 5 times and then, you know, played the OG and then having done that 4 times, you kind of reach a point where you're just over it, you know? And I hate putting it that way because it's definitely, like, one of my favorite games, you know, but like I said, you reach that point where you're over it and you're just kind of, you don't want to do it anymore. So, and that's kind of where I found myself, was just being over it. But I do need to get back to it, I know, because I essentially, you know, told myself that, you know, this is what I want to do. This is my project. For the sake of preserving the game. And for the sake of, you know, sharing Nier lore with people. So I know I need to get back to it. I haven't really had the motivation to do so. Likewise, I've been trying to, I guess, just up the ante on things that I'm playing. I'm trying to branch out, really. I'm trying to branch out, try new things that maybe I normally wouldn't play. I'm trying to kind of go outside my comfort zone. Because people seem to really like it when I do, because you can tell when I'm playing something outside my comfort zone. As fun as it is to play games that I know and love, like Tomba 2, things like that. As fun as it is to play those types of games, there is that whole thing where it's like, it's hard to, I guess it's hard to give a genuine reaction to said game when you know everything that's gonna happen. So that's kind of like where I'm at when it comes to Nier and stuff. Obviously, I know what's gonna happen in the game. You know, it's like I've beaten it already. I've done all that stuff. So yeah, it's just one of them things. There we go. And 2 points. And also with Final Fantasy, so I've been thinking about Final Fantasy a lot, and I'm like, okay, I definitely need to get back to it. And, you know, and I do. I'm getting ready to enter Hawk Manor, and that'll be, like, probably one of my biggest dungeons yet. It's actually the one I've been dreading, because I'm afraid I'm gonna get lost in there. But, yeah, I need to get back to that, but the DDoS attacks have really put a damper in my spirits when it comes to that, because, you know, I would hate to be in the middle of the dungeon, and then all of a sudden, I get kicked. So, it's definitely been something I've been avoiding, and I've been avoiding it because the DDoS attacks have just been so bad lately, and it's made me not want to play. Like, just, honestly, it's made me not want to play. I'm supposed to be playing with a friend tonight, and I'm not really looking forward to it, not because I don't want to play with him, because I do, but it's just because the idea of getting kicked 2-3 times while I'm trying to get something done is just really annoying, you know? Excellent, the Blood Fanatics got what they deserved. Heck yeah. Alright, so now, Charr in the catacombs, we have to return to Ascalon City, and there's a couple things we need to do. So, one of the things that we need to do is we got a second profession, so we need to talk to Armin Saberlin. That's one of the first things we need to talk. That's the first thing we need to do. So, choosing a second profession can be one of the most difficult decisions facing a young soldier, but don't be afraid that you've made the wrong choice. There's no right or wrong choice. Every combination of professions has unique benefits and possibilities. Now it's up to you to take advantage of them. Looks like you're ready for war, Samatari, ready as any of us are the first time at any rate. That's good. From what I've seen, the war party will be prepared to head out soon. You'd best go talk to Sir Titus lest they set forth without you. Okay, so once we do talk to Sir Titus, we essentially are done. We are done with the missions and stuff. That is what ends pre-searing and sends us into post-searing. So we are not doing that yet because we still have some quests that we have to do. So we are actually going to go here. We're going to sell some stuff. Definitely don't need that. Okay. Now who are we supposed to be talking to? Return to Rurik. He's up here. Man, all these fancy costumes. I wonder if they added any new costumes that I haven't seen. I should probably go check out the A-Net store eventually. Alright, Prince Rurik, I have the proof. This is proof enough. You'll have served Ascalon well this day. I will mobilize the troops and search for this beast. Okay, so the reason that this quest is important is because it essentially just unlocks this final mission here. So now we do have a couple options. We can either go north across the wall and do that, or we can just exit. And the thing is there's no real point in going north across the wall. I mean, there is, but there's not. We're essentially done in pre-searing. Like I said, I could sit there all day and try and collect some stuff, but ultimately we're dones. We're dunzos. So I don't need this. I'm gonna toss this. Okay. And I'll keep the charr carvings. Alright. Have you heard? We're almost ready to set out. Before you join us, keep in mind that you'll have to say goodbye to all the comforts of Ascalon City. Out there beyond the wall, our lives will be in constant danger, and we'll have only our comrades to rely on. But Balthazar willing, we'll drive these charr from our kingdom once and for all. Okay, we are mustering our forces now. The attack against the charr will begin tonight. Let me know when you're ready to go. But be sure that all of your affairs are in order before you do. Once we leave, there will be no turning back. You may not see friends or family for quite a while. If you have unfinished business to attend to, do it before we go. I'm ready. So, Ascalon Academy, like, essentially what it does is first we'll have to do, like, a PvP section unless they have us skip it. I don't know if the increased player thing allows us to skip it or not anymore. But it used to be that you had to go into the academy first, you had to do, like, a PvP thing, and then afterwards you could start the mission. So, hopefully we can just start the mission, because I don't like the PvP part. I think it's stupid. Nope, I guess not. Listen to the briefing given by Sir Titus and Prince Rurik. Oh, I guess we are skipping it. Waiting for the briefing. I'm sorry I could not join you before the skirmish. I was delayed. He was delayed by me. I wanted us to watch the battle together. Sir Titus did not exaggerate when he spoke of you. You've shown great promise today. Oh, this is talking about the PvP stuff that we skipped. Which is nice. I just wish their speech didn't take so long. I've been keeping the prince informed of your deeds. After seeing your courage for himself, I believed he is convinced. I am. I've come to induct you into Ascalon's vanguard. We are the elite protectors, who guard our nation when threatened from within or without. As part of the vanguard, you are needed for a critical mission before we can begin our offensive against the charr. Our sentry spotted Vatlaw Doomtooth and his warband in an old bunker out behind the citadel. He must have found a passage that led here from the catacombs. Whatever his purpose, it can be no good. As soon as you're ready, the prince himself will accompany you to cast this charr fiend out of our land. Okay, so Vatlaw Doomtooth is obviously the charr that was leading the grawl. It's the one that Oberon the Reviled had the tooth for. And he said that he got kicked out of the catacombs. So we now have the prince with us, and we are searching for Vatlaw Doomtooth. And he's in a citadel out this way. So fighting Vatlaw Doomtooth is the end of the tutorial. So we go to confront him in the bunker, and then once we confront him in this little bunker behind the citadel, then we enter the post-searing. Which, I mean, 5 parts? Yeah, 5 parts. I mean, it's a pretty long tutorial, but it's not huge, considering the fact that you get a second profession, and they want to make sure that you're super comfortable in trying out the various professions. So this gives you time to use all the powers, to fight using everything that you have, to really test out what works and what doesn't work. You know, they're just making sure that, you know, you're comfortable with what you pick, which I think is fantastic. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily baby you, which I can appreciate. But yeah, so we've been inducted into the Prince's Vanguard. Alright, so obviously the charr, or the grawl have also bunkered down here because Vatlaw Doomtooth has created this weird alliance. Up here we can see this Spirit of Favorable Winds. That is a advanced ranger power because Vatlaw Doomtooth is a ranger. Okay, so first we want to take out the shaman, just because he's the healer. And then done, done, and done. There's Gwen. But unfortunately, something is happening beyond the wall.
It was on that day that the charr discovered a way around the Great Wall.
Why is it
To
echoing?
break it down.
I'll say, why is it echoing?
This is where the true story begins.
Okay, and now we are in Old Ascalon, 2 years later. So it has been 2 years since the charr brought the wall down, and this is where we currently are. We have some henchmen here with us. They are just NPCs, of course. And then here's Captain Osiric. Welcome back, Samutari. Looks like the patrol went well. You're still in one piece at any rate. Listen, Prince Rurik sent me to ask you a favor. You've been in the field, so you probably haven't heard about this, but an ambassador has arrived from our old enemy, Kryta. They can help us fight the charr, but the king won't even talk to him. The prince hasn't been able to make any headway with his father, but he knows that the king trusts Titus, and Titus trusts you. Would you perhaps talk to War Master Titus about this matter? He's in his usual place in Ascalon City. Of course I'll talk to Titus. Okay, so we start out in the outskirts of Ascalon. And then we have to make it to the city. Gerald the Tamer, another Ascalon guard. And then as you can see, everything has been destroyed. And now we are in Ascalon City, or Old Ascalon. So as you can see, the magic that was used to bring down the wall is obviously very strange magic. It caused crystals to erupt from the ground. You find out later in Eye of the North that it was the flame shaman specifically that found this magic. And what it did was horrible. So it basically, it turned the water into tar. It made all these crystals kind of jump out of the ground. It made, like, you know, just the area start to crystallize. Everything is scorched. No grass can grow. Like, it's pretty terrible stuff. Pretty terrible stuff. So now, what remains of the Ascalonian people, they're all living in a wasteland. And now, because the charr are still making headway, and, you know, they're still basically at an advantage here, because they are at the advantage, we need the help we can get. So, a ambassador from Kryta has shown up offering to help against the charr, but the King Adalburn has basically said, yeah, no, we ain't doing that. So, how do I get a cape? The cape is a symbol. If you're in a guild but do not have a cape, your guild leader needs to talk to the guild emblemer. There's the guild emblemer. Ooh, now we can make our cape, but oh, it's 2 platinum. Jesus Christ, I'll do that later then. Yikes, yikes, yikes. But anyways, War Master Titus. Don't talk to me about the Krytan ambassador. I've been getting an earful from both sides. Do you know why King Adalburn trusts me, Samutari? Because I know where my loyalties lie. King and country. Balthazar preserved them both. Perhaps joining the prince's vanguard has confused you, but Rurik is not the ruler of this kingdom. Now listen to me. The king's already given this matter much consideration, and the likes of you and I best abide by his wisdom. Titus, I don't trust King Adalburn at all. The king's message. This was a mistake. What was? Leaving pre. Welcome to the herd of post-searing. Oh gosh. Anyways, I have an important task for you. Please deliver this royal message to Ambassador Zane of Kryta. His camp can be found just outside the city. Go to the western gate to Old Ascalon and head west to find the encampment. I don't trust these Krytans. I want you to take someone with you in case there's trouble. I'm sure Alicia will be willing to go with you, and she can heal you if need be. So Alicia is obviously the healer NPC. You can't all the charr slaying for nothing. Yeah, I feel you, buddy. You cannot play this game without NPCs. If you think that you can solo this game without NPCs, you are highly mistaken. Also, we now have access to armor. So, currently we have armor 25, armor plus 20, charr hide helm, armor 50, tactics plus 1, armor 20. There's all these different sorts of helmets. Okay, so if we want... The charr hide has really good armor and gives you tactics, but if you want something specific, like axe mastery, then you're gonna want the gladiator. So you have to really start thinking about like what you want in terms of armor and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with axe mastery. Let's see, Ascalon, Charhide Curious. Oh. Sell. Damage plus 11. So, sell. I'll just go ahead and sell that, even though it's a thingy. We'll go ahead and do this. We'll get rid of this. Craft. Charhide Curious. Ascalon is 50. Armor plus 20 versus physical. This is also versus physical. So this is where you kind of get into the game where it's more fashion wars. These all do the same thing. So, like this, it all does the same as this. But unfortunately, we're kind of in a place where we can't do much. We don't have the materials. So what I have to start doing is getting salvage kits so that I can salvage, so that I can get more iron ingots, which is then going to allow me to craft the rest of the charr stuff. So for right now, can't really do anything. As far as like weapons and stuff go, this guy has different armor, I think. Charhide, armor 35. Okay, so this is the weaker stuff. But I don't want the weaker stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and wait until I can afford the good stuff, rather than just go back and forth. This guy can forge weapons for us. He can essentially customize the weapon for us, so that we can't trade it. There's other things that he can do as well, but I'm not too worried about that. What does she collect? She collects charhide, and she can give us a belt pouch and a first square. First square would be good, but I don't need that. There's our dye trader. Here's our material trader. Here's our merchant. Here we go. Ruined bag of holding. So now we can buy our bags. We are definitely going to buy 2 of those. So we now have our bags, which we can place here. And that gives us more inventory space. Salvage kits are now 100. That's rough. And then he also had the Rune of Holding, which will increase the bag size, which we will eventually need. And then up here is our Zunlai chest. So in order to unlock storage, we have to pay 50 gold, which is fine. We're not going to get the upgrades right now. We just need the basics, which gives us a nice 4 slots. And look at all that. Let's see. Crafting material storage. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So all of our crafting materials we can now deposit into here. They have their own little pocket that they can go to. This can hold up to 250 of each material. Okay, we don't have any other materials. We can also deposit money if we want to save money. And then all the extra stuff like this. Oy, oy, oy. All the extra stuff like this, like dyes and things like that, we can literally just now shove in here, and now we don't have to worry about running out of space that easily. So, alright, so now we've taken care of that. What is falling in the background? I've got ghosts. We've got ghosts in my house. Heroes are called to Fort Aspenwood in the Jade Quarry. Yeah, I know. That is for PvP stuff, and I don't want to do PvP stuff. Okay, so there are a few different NPCs. I could have swapped out Stefan for the Ranger NPC. I didn't do it. I'm not really worried about it right now anyways. We can still use our Imp because that is good until we reach level 20. Now, henchmen do not level up with you. They essentially are at a fixed level depending on area. So don't get too excited because they're not going to be that useful. Alright, military matters. We have something of a military emergency taking place. When Baradin and his vanguard broke through the Charr lines to Pekin Square, they created a weak point in our own line. Our scouts report that Charr forces are massing to try and break through the breach, and we have not enough men in place to stop them. We need to reassign our forces quickly. If you're willing, I'd like you to gather up a patrol that's been watching the road in Regent Valley. The patrol leader is Sergeant Clark. I'll need you to bring him and his men back to me for reassignment. What say you? That's fine. Gargoyle trouble. A true warrior's got to be tough to survive in Ascalon after the searing. You've got to show me some prowess in battle before I acknowledge you as a true warrior. Defeating 5 of these shatter or flash gargoyles should be a true test of your mettle. Think you can handle it? Yeah, that's not going to be an issue. However, first we are going to pass on the king's message since the encampment is right over here. Greetings, Ambassador Zane. Let me be the first to welcome you to Ascalon. Ah, Prince Rurik, I thank you for your kind words. I'll admit I was nervous about this meeting. Our initial reception here in Ascalon City has been less than warm. So I've heard. I apologize for my father. He means well and does what he thinks is best for his country, but sometimes his stubborn memory of the last guild wars gets in his way. The days between our two nations are over. We are here in the name of Kryta to give aid to Ascalon. We ask for nothing in return, and wish only to be of service. We would be foolish not to allow our pride to stand in the way of such a generous office. Now I see why the people of Ascalon so admire you, Rurik. When it's your turn, you'll be a good king indeed. Now, unfortunately, thank you, Ambassador. Now I must take my leave. I'll talk with the king. Perhaps I can change his mind and give you access to the city. Now, one of the issues is because, like, I love, it's like, I love the story in this game. The problem is that they talk way too fast sometimes or way too slow, and it doesn't always show up in the chat, so you have to be able to follow the story and pay attention. A message with the royal seal? Let's see. Honored ambassador, etc., etc. Your request for permission to enter the city and address the people of Ascalon is emphatically denied. This being the 4th such denial, His Majesty bids you reconsider this ill-conceived journey and contemplate a return to Kryta. King Adalbert and I have learned very different lessons from the wars of the past. Isolation is not the answer. Only in peace and mutual friendship shall we find our salvation. I still have hope that in time he will realize the truth of this. Alright, helping the people of Ascalon. I do not understand the hostility that my presence generates from your king. I seek only to help the people of Ascalon. You could help me in this cause. I have a shipment of supplies that I was going to deliver to an Ascalon woman called Ellie Rigby. She runs an orphanage for those who have lost their parents in these evil times. King Adalbert, however, will not allow me in the city to deliver these supplies. Would you help the children of Ascalon for me and deliver the supplies? I'll gladly help you. Ambassador's Quandary. Alas, despite the current peace between Kryta and Ascalon, your king Adalbern still chooses to view all Krytans with distrust. He respects the old laws too much to do anything untoward, but I must take care not to give him an excuse to expel me from the kingdom. Therein lies my trouble. Unable to enter the city, my men have been forced to travel south to Regent Valley to resupply, and have been victimized repeatedly by a bandit named Torin. We would hunt down Torin ourselves, but shedding blood of an Ascalon, even a criminal like Torin, might be a mistake. Will you attend to this bandit threat for me? I'll take care of it. Witness Rostin. Unseen ones protect you. This land has seen much tragedy. Even in this place, I feel the spirits of the dead, filled with confusion and anger. I can consecrate the ground so that the dead may have some peace, but I'll need very special items for the ceremony. I believe there's a craftsman here in Old Ascalon called Artisan David, who is capable of fashioning exactly what I need. Would you take this list to him and bring back the supplies he gives you? I'd be happy to help. So, essentially, like, the Krytans have come, they're in these crappy-ass caravans, but they've come to help Ascalon, and King Adalbern's like, yeah, nah, we ain't doing that. So, I want to see his get-up again. Ah, yes, the white mantle. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, boy. I wouldn't trust the Krytans either. Alright, anyways, so, helping the people of Ascalon. Let's go ahead and give these supplies to Ellie Rigby in Ascalon City. Now, War Master Grast, one of the things he wants us to do is he wants us to grab these guys from Regent Valley, and then we have to have these NPCs follow us, like, all the way to War Master Grast. And the thing is like, oh man. Also, this is where the academy was, if you don't remember. Like, this is, like, literally, like, pre-searing area. So, yeah. But yeah, the NPCs used to be so, like, annoying whenever you would try and get them to follow you, and sometimes it just would not work, like, hardly at all. So it was very frustrating. But now we have some goals. First, I want to raise 2 platinum so that I can get my guild tabard. We also need to get all the supplies necessary so that we can craft our charr hide armor. I might just do some grinding before I record again just to get those things done. But yeah, seeing that guy being like, I made a mistake, leaving pre-searing Ascalon, like, that just tickles me. People often forget about the children of those slain by the searing. I try to look after them, but there's only so much one woman can do. If we don't find someone to help us soon, I'm afraid of what will happen. Thank you. Go tell your mutual friend that these supplies will be put to good use. Thank Duena there are people like him around to help those in need. I honestly don't understand why certain people are so suspicious of people like our friend. I mean, war does stuff to people, you know? I mean, I don't blame them per se, but yeah, in times like this, when the charr are, like, literally, they have the advantage, I would be taking all the help I could get. Defend the wall. There you are. I was asked to pass a message to you from Prince Rurik. There's trouble at the Great Northern Wall, and they'd like your help. Squire Zachary is waiting for you at the wall. One thing before you go, Samutari. Since Althea's disappearance, the prince has grown increasingly reckless. Be careful, old friend. Ascalon needs you in one piece. So Althea, as you remember, she is the Mesmer trainer. She was also Prince Rurik's fiancée. She has gone missing. So that is important to remember for later, but not so important now. Not right now, anyways. But, alright, so we have finished this. And that's probably where I'll end the episode, is after we turn this in. Like I said, I'll start grinding for gold and stuff. Get to taking care of some of those things. Oh. I love this interaction. Stand aside, Rurik. Before you do this, father, think about your motives. The Krytan is a cancer on the underbelly of Ascalon. I need no further motive than that to cut a wave before he does more harm. Ambassador Zane is here to offer us aid. He extends his hand in friendship. No Krytan will ever be a friend of Ascalon. Don't be foolish, old man. If you've not noticed, Ascalon is in no position to turn away help, even from those who were once our enemies. I grow tired of this, Rurik. Step aside this instant. We are here to arrest Ambassador Zane and try him as a traitor of this nation. I will not allow you to jeopardize the fate of Ascalon because of your petty jealousy. If you intend to arrest the ambassador, then you will first have to go through me. Go home, father. Let me deal with this. This is a mistake, Rurik. Mark my words. This Krytan will be the death of us all. I'm bored. Also, for Guild Wars 2 people, guards with me. If you've noticed the swords, they look very common. The guards carry what are like basically like mimic swords of the flame dragon sword. Rurik is the one that has the sword known as Sohathan, which is in Guild Wars 2. It's in possession of a charr, a very popular charr. Alright. Well done, my friend. You've done a great and merciful deed this day. I hope that this is the first step towards our two nations becoming allies. So now we have a skill, Vile Touch, deals 23 damage. And then we get, for Great Justice, you gain 100% more adrenaline. I'm not gonna, I'll equip it later. But yeah, so essentially Adalbern and Rurik are at ends. So you have the prince who basically is like, hey, we need all the help we can get for Ascalon. And then you have the king who's like, I don't care. Our enemies are our enemies. Even though we have a treaty of peace, I still hate them. And so he can't let go of the past. So you have the prince who wants to help Ascalon by getting the help of the Krytans, and you have Adalbern who basically says, no, we are a proud people, we can do this ourselves. And, you know, Adalbern obviously has the advantage with him being the king. People are obviously going to follow his lead, and because he wasn't a noble-born king, he just happened to be a hero of the former guild wars, everybody kind of just believes he knows what's best. So we obviously have this weird conflict going on right now. And so it's very, very tense because the charr continue to advance and they continue to kind of like gain on the Ascalonians. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave this episode here. So leave a like if you like this series and if you'd like to see more. I'm having a ton of fun revisiting this. Like I said, I still have a lot to do as far as grinding and, you know, gaining stuff. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. So like I said, if you want me to continue this series, just let me know. If you want to talk about Guild Wars, especially Guild Wars lore, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section down below. We can chat about it. I love talking about lore because the universe in this is just so good, and I adore it to pieces. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your continued support on my videos. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Alright, ciao you guys.